join the conclusion of the Overseas Volunteers meeting where 20 countries learn how to further Tzu Chi's missions locally. Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital and Taiwan Tulip movement jointly host a musical concert to bring awareness to Parkinson's disease. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Marilee Shoda. Thank you for joining us. Overseas Tzu Chi volunteers from 20 countries recently traveled back to Taiwan to share their experiences of the past year over the course of a 4-day meeting. All the volunteers humbly learned from one another and expressed willingness to bring this experience back to their own countries. Here's more on the highlights of the last day of the event.
The refugee crisis is still one of the major concerns of the United Nations. In both Jordan and Serbia, there are many Syrian refugees. Tzu Chi volunteers in Jordan have been helping them in different ways, including finding a doctor to treat more than 200 refugee children.
在伊拉克的难民医生在看叙利亚的难民小孩。
An Iraqi doctor is treating Syrian refugee children. In the past 6 years, I have realized that the most practical dharma is our master's teachings, including be sincere and honest.
Tzu Chi's assistance to those suffering has become widely known. Since 2003, Tzu Chi volunteers in the United States have sought the chance to work together with the United Nations to help refugees. In addition, UNHCR also sought Tzu Chi's help in providing medical service.
Not only should Tzu Chi volunteers in the United States work together with the United Nations, we need global volunteers. From 2008 to 2016 and from 2003 to 2008, we solved problems. In addition, we must learn the Buddhist Dharma, attain enlightenment by learning profound Buddhist teachings.
The sharing session for Tzu Chi's overseas missions ended on April 11th. Tzu Chi volunteers from 20 countries have used the opportunity to share their experiences, learning from each other.
人人呢，在人群中要和和互协啦，要合众，有众人的力量，你才有办法去在落实你的当地呢，发挥你的慈济事业哈。所以啊，要人群合众啊，要合心协力，坚持对的事情做就对了。
The overseas volunteers humbly learn from each other and vow to bring what they have learned back to their countries, ready to spread love to more corners of the world.
To accommodate all the overseas volunteers who are staying at the Jingse boat in Hualien, a group of Tzu Chi volunteers from Yilan shoulder the responsibility of ensuring their comfort. Each day, the volunteers tidy up the dormitory with joy as they offer a comfortable sleeping quarter for their overseas family.
To welcome more than 300 overseas Tzu Chi volunteers returning home, these volunteers clean up every corner of the dormitory every day, despite their old age.
We do this for ourselves as well as for the Jingse abode, since there are many Tzu Chi family members coming back.
It's a rare opportunity to do good for the global Tzu Chi family. We are doing this to form a good affinity with them.
These volunteers still came to help out, even though she has just undergone surgery on both of her knees.
Xiaoxia usually assigns the easy job to me.
This office worker even takes some days off to join the cleanup effort.
Since I have this opportunity and the sisters are also willing to take turns doing this work.
Lian Xiaoxia is responsible for assigning the work, and she is grateful for the completion of the task.
Master Zheng said that it needs everyone's strength to complete a task successfully. A person's effort is usually not enough.
At the meeting, overseas volunteers work together in harmony to help each other, while outside the venue, this group of volunteers give selflessly to serve their Tzu Chi family.
In the Buddhist Lotus Sutra, there is a parable about a burning house where children are in great danger inside a house on fire. The scenario actually refers to sentient beings trapped by their own insatiable desires and ignorance. Tzu Chi volunteers in Mozambique recently presented this Buddhist lesson in a play.
三界好体，无名为因。
The parable of the burning house is turned into a play in Mozambique. The hut represents the burning house where children play without paying attention to the cause of their worried father. Fortunately, the children are saved by the ox cart. However, they still get into arguments. Finally, people find peace of mind with the teachings of the Wise One. Buddhism is being spread in Africa, bringing joy to those who learn it.
The easily accessible nature of the recent wave of drugs has enticed people to accidentally become addicted to illegal drugs. To assist those who have gone astray, many foundations have opened their doors to give them the spiritual support they need. Yet these foundations often lack funding. Thus, the government has proposed an amendment for heavier disciplinary action and counseling programs while setting up special funds for the cause. During a checkpoint inspection by the Criminal Investigation Bureau of Hsinchu, they found that dealers have been selling illegal drugs disguised in coffee bags. The Coast Guard and the Customs Department worked together as a unit and stopped the import of tens of thousands of cans of Four Loko, retail value of about 10 million NT dollars. The banned drink is also known as blackout in a can and has gained popularity lately, and it's hard to detect.
The imported flavors are such as cherry flavor or watermelon flavor, easily disguised as a fruit cocktail. On the average, half a bottle of the drink will cause dizziness, vomiting, or even blacking out.
Not only coffee packs and fruit cocktails, but also gummy candy, instant noodles, and Jell-O have all been used to disguise illegal drugs. A proposed amendment has been raised in hopes of improving the level of protection for children.
One day, my friend rolled me a cigarette that had ketamine in it and asked if I wanted to try it. At the time, I was curious and I tried it.
His curiosity led him astray. Subsequently, he became addicted to the drug, began selling it and producing it. In the end, he was jailed for 3 years and 7 months.
Because we have been away from society for so long, in the beginning, after I came out of jail, I thought of returning to that environment. However, as I had a lot of support around me, it made me not think about returning to that lifestyle.
With his family bonds repaired, Xiao Chen has also found religious support. Thanks to the Libertas Education Foundation's support, Xiao Chen became an anti-drug speaker, speaking at more than 10 sessions a month.
Those who can successfully leave their past behind have the support of their family, because when they feel the strength of the family, they can hold on and keep going forward.
With the skill to make a living, those who have gone astray are likely to stay on the right path. 2 years ago, without enough funding, the Libertas Education Foundation started a restaurant, especially to train juvenile delinquents.
We didn't have enough money, so we started a social business. The point is to train these children and let them gain a sense of value. We have professional chefs and large hotels here to train them.
Stepping onto school campuses or jails, giving children companionship or guidance. In the past 20-some years, civil organizations have gradually declined due to a lack of funding, which means government support is much needed.
Funding should be spent on, besides promoting anti-drug, but also the aftercare of these children and helping them be independent and not rely on subsidies.
With limited resources in private sectors, the children's future is dependent on the outpouring of government resources. Taiwan's century-old tobacco industry passed into history in March of this year. The end of the tobacco cultivation was aided by greater awareness of the harm caused by smoking. Additionally, regulations put forward by the Ministry of Health and Welfare have curbed smoking in bars and nightclubs. Furthermore, Taipei City and New Taipei City have also announced no smoking at all bus stops in the 2 municipalities.
Smoking regulations have been implemented for 9 years now, with a comprehensive ban on all indoor places. But are smokers really clear about the regulations? People on the sidewalk are smoking and chatting, as this is the entrance to a hospital. Just a few meters away is a large sign warning them. But here, the hospital entrance, smokers behind the big warning that smoking is prohibited outside a hospital.
If this area belongs to the hospital, we will be regarded as part of the hospital where smoking is prohibited. Even this area, which is roped off, is part of the hospital where smoking is banned. People smoking here should be fined.
It's not only the entrance of hospitals, but other areas such as covered spaces in front of stores, bus stations, and sidewalks also expose people to risk of secondhand smoke.
Starting from March 1st, all the bus stops in New Taipei City, some 6,110 locations, will be non-smoking.
Taipei and New Taipei City have announced a comprehensive ban on smoking at bus stations. However, they have different interpretation of what constitutes the bus stop, as Taipei City narrowly defines it as an area covered by a bus shelter, whereas New Taipei defines it as a defined area of sidewalk and street adjacent to a bus sign. In reality, the lines may be blurred, as some may not know just where they are safe from secondhand smoke.
People may simply run away or say that we're looking for trouble. If no one provides us with direct information, we can't really punish them.
It's just a short period of time. Before, there weren't any public areas where smoking was prohibited. Now everyone goes outside to smoke.
From outside school campuses to bus stations and hospitals, all of these areas are now non-smoking. The Ministry of Health and Welfare admits that it doesn't have enough staff to police the situation, as it must simply focus on propaganda. Since the implementation of the Tobacco Hazards Prevention Act, the rate of smoking amongst Taiwanese people has dropped from 27% to 16%, though recently rising to 17%. In order to further control tobacco, the Bureau of Health Promotion has drawn up 7 new amendments to laws that would include a ban on e-cigarettes, flavored cigarettes, warnings about tobacco health risks to cover 85% of packaging, and expanding non-smoking places. In the future, bars, nightclubs, and cigar bars will be completely non-smoking. Some of these e-cigarettes have even contained illegal drugs.
Actually, their main purpose is to attract young people, especially those who don't smoke. This is because it is easy to smoke, and our check found that 80% contain nicotine, but some from both Taiwan and abroad contain drugs, such as amphetamines.
There are studies abroad that if young people try e-cigarettes, they are 6 times more likely to begin smoking than the rest of the population. So we believe it's very important to regulate e-cigarettes.
The Ministry of Health and Welfare has come under scrutiny by anti-smoking groups, as the government has quietly allowed Japanese tobacco companies to set up factories and even given foreign investment concessions.
In fact, our foreign investment regulations are quite clear that they can't set up factories that harm the health of local people, such as the petrochemical industry or manufacturing arms. But we have signed a treaty with Japan allowing them to come to Taiwan to set up cigarette factories, which shirks our national responsibility.
There are a lot of administrative operations carried out in different departments, but from a public health perspective, we absolutely oppose foreign tobacco factories being established in Taiwan. We have issued a formal document to the Ministry of Economic Affairs to express our position.
The John Tong Foundation pointed out that Japanese tobacco businesses can earn about $359 million a year from Taiwan. Furthermore, setting up factories in Taiwan can save them $98 million in tariffs, with annual sales of 760 million packets of cigarettes directly produced in Taiwan. The government only sees this as a Japanese business investment which can bring about employment opportunities, but doesn't see the other side of the matter, which is the threat to public health.
In bringing awareness of Parkinson's disease to the public, the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital held a concert and invited many Parkinson's patients to the event, using music and dance to prove that through medication and surgery, patients can regain control of their life.
The
This beautiful performance at the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital was put on by dancers, some who have Parkinson's disease.
Those of us who suffer from Parkinson's are a bit slower in movement. Before my surgery, my neck was stiff too, so dancing wasn't that easy for me.
Parkinson's disease has been discovered for 200 years, and much medical research has been done in looking for a cure. Currently, deep brain surgery, which has been in use since 1987, has gained the most positive outcome. To date, Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital has helped numerous patients regain control of their life once more.
我们的终极目标就是让你们变成有能力的人、有用的人哈。那
Our final goal is to help you become someone with strength, someone who's useful. In the next 10 years, we want our patients, their family, to re-enter society. We will support you.
我们在旁边支持你们，然后你们走出去哈。
The Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital has partnered with Taiwan's Tulip movement to hold a musical concert. They not only invited famous singers to the event, but patients from across the island also formed a choir to present a song.
唱歌可以让我们抒发心情。
Singing can help us to express our emotions through songs. It can stimulate our hearing and our basal ganglia nuclei and activate brain cells, which are very helpful to Parkinson's patients.
这对我们帕金森病人是相当有用。
Music not only soothes the patients' minds, but also gives them more strength to face their illness. The success of this event helps prove that medication and surgery can surely improve the life of a Parkinson's sufferer. Everyone knows that once a person suffers a stroke, the side effects is long-lasting, but many might not know that the 6 months after a stroke is the golden time for treatment and rehabilitation, where patients can recover from their stroke the fastest. He Zhenfeng is a retired military officer. A year ago, he had a cerebral hemorrhage, which hindered his language ability and movements.
The hemorrhage area is deeper in the brain, closer to the brainstem and central of the brain. The area is not considered large. It was less than 30 cc, so we didn't recommend surgery.
Taking into consideration the patient's needs, the medical team began Chinese medicine treatments after his vitals and the bleeding stopped to prevent further decrease of brain cells.
To prevent a second stroke, he needs to be healthy, and I put my trust in using acupuncture and Chinese medicine.
Cerebral hemorrhaging can be categorized into 2 categories. About 80% is the ischemic stroke, which is an obstruction within the blood vessel, blocking blood supply to the brain. The other is hemorrhagic stroke, which is the result of weakened blood vessels rupturing and causing bleeding into the surrounding brain.
Our experience with the Chinese medicine lets us know that the earlier we start patients on Chinese medicine, the better their nerve functions are after the stroke.
6 months after a stroke is the golden treatment period where patients can regain their strength the fastest.
We have been doing constraint-induced movement therapy on his legs and arms. Then about a month and a half to 2 months, we began movement contraction therapy.
Due to following the program set up by the Taiwan Tzu Chi Hospital, Mr. He has regained about 60% of his mobility back. Taiwan Tzu Chi Hospital offers well-rounded patient care, which means treatment plans include Eastern medicine to aid patient recovery period after surgery. If patients are in need of at-home care, the hospital can provide regular nursing care. Let's take a look at how the staff at Taiwan Tzu Chi Hospital has helped this one particular family. This home caregiver is at Mrs. Ho's home to check on her wound and to also teach her family members how to take care of her. 85-year-old Mrs. Ho has a large bed sore from lying in bed for so long. Her son has taken pictures of the bed sore to help document the condition.
I'm
the nurse's assistant, so we can discuss the condition.
Mrs. Ho has diabetes. Towards the end of 2016, within a week, her lower right leg went black and she also went into septic shock.
My mother has diabetes and her lungs have fluid in them. Her leg also has wound as a result of the long-term diabetes. When she went into septic shock, it seemed as if her life was hanging on the line.
The family members thought of giving up on further treatment as they didn't want Mrs. He to suffer. However, the Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital came up with a way to help.
If they did local anesthesia, then she won't need to rely on tubes. That gave me hope.
To save Mrs. He, she needed to amputate, but taking in consideration of Mrs. He's age, after general anesthesia, she likely needs to rely on a respirator for the rest of her life.
The patient's family expressed their wishes of not wanting the patient to rely on breathing tubes, so the team worked together to quickly finish the surgery to decrease the likelihood of it.
Although local anesthesia is more beneficial for the patient, this means the medical team must race against time during the surgery.
For anesthesiologists, using local anesthesia on a patient with unstable heart and lung conditions is more tricky and dangerous.
The surgery took less than an hour. Actually, it was only half an hour, and there wasn't much blood loss.
Post-operation, the team's care also touched the patient family's hearts.
We want to strengthen her qi with tonics, as this will help her heart functions. Plus, it helps urination. So after a week, her bloating went down.
They gave her herbal tonics at the hospital. Normally, it's Chinese pattern medicine. That gesture really touched me.
As Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital combines Eastern medicine with their Western care, they provided herbal tonics for the patients to help speed up their recovery.
If we make the tonics ourselves, we know very clearly how to boil the tonic to obtain the best concentration for the patients.
2 weeks after surgery, Mrs. He was healthy enough to be transferred to a regular patient bed, though the herbal tonics continued until she checked out of the hospital. Once at home, nurses would visit twice a month without fail.
For patients who can't take care of themselves, or if they still have tubes on them or wounds, family members can always ask us to come help them.
Thanks to the cooperation of Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital's medical staff, Mrs. He is recovering very well and is very conscious.
We had an entire team of bodhisattvas helping us. There was technical skills as well as love. We are thankful we had Tzu Chi Hospital's assistance. Did you say thank you?
To help the pilgrimage event for the Tzu Chi Temple in Tainan's Xuejia, Tzu Chi volunteers were recruited to help promote environmental conservation and help lead participants to store recyclables. We will leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.